Welcome to the Unfixed Income YouTube channel. I'm Wayne Kramer, your host. Today we have a special guest on that is going to show us an opportunity to take your hard-earned dollars and turn it into more dollars. Welcome, Jan Hale. How have you been? I haven't seen you since March. It's been a little while.
I've been good. We're having great weather here in Florida, and that's a nice part about being in Florida.
Maybe just give us a little bit of background, maybe on yourself or your career, or kind of just a little bit of
Yeah, sure.
information about yourself.
Yeah, sure. I've been a veterinarian for 50 years, and I had a partner. He actually lives in California. We were helping small businesses with their marketing and going into the digital age and social media, all kinds of things. And one day he calls me up and he says, "Wow, I went to this show." He lives in San Diego. I stopped at this booth and they do microloans in Kenya, Africa. He says, "Well, I've been studying micro lending for a long time because my his father was a doctor. He would go to Africa and go on stints over there, and doctors in Africa or some there was some kind of a program where they would help the people over there. And so he spent a lot of time over in Africa, especially Kenya area. So he knew a lot about just the continent of Africa and specifically Kenya. And he knew about micro lending. So he said, I think I'd like to get more involved in that. And I said, okay. He says, you can make 12 to 36% on money that you're lending to small businesses over in Kenya and helping them um, gradually build up their enterprises. To a lot of people over there, they're in poverty. They don't have access to capital. So
Yes.
I said, 36%, that sounds too good to be true. So after he got done explaining the whole thing and telling me how could really help small enterprises over there incrementally build themselves up out of poverty to where they can send their kids to school and then help other people in their community and things like that. And at the same time, a microloan in Kenya is between $5 and $500. How can you make any money on those kind of loans? A lot of micro lenders in other countries, they charge high interest rates. It's kind of more of a negative thing for them because they end up having to pay so much interest back. They can't really make those steps up out of poverty. This company, the founder is a Kenyan. He has a PhD in economics, so he knows the culture of the country and he knows how everything works there. By the time he got done explaining all that to me, I said, "Okay, I'm in."
It seems like it's a win-win. So you can help a
Yep,
place like
exactly.
Kenya come across gain access to capital that they wouldn't otherwise have, but at the same time you can gain a return on your money. So it really is a win-win for both parties.
That's exactly how I look at it. In fact, people will ask me, they'll say, "Well, you're making 36% on your money. Why do you need to make that much money?" And I said, "Well, I figure the more money that I can make helping others, I can help more people."
You know, it's funny that
And
you put it that way because when you talk about business, about people that are doing well, a lot of people assume that if you do well, that you're somehow taking from other people. But I actually do believe, I agree with what you just said. It's possible to take your income, help other people, and make money at the same time because they're gaining access, you're gaining return on investment. There's this misconception that if you make money, that you're somehow taking it from other people. And I don't
yeah,
subscribe to that philosophy. I really don't.
yeah, the more able you become, the more people you can help.
Yes.
So it makes sense to me.
So, in layman terms, basically, you've got an economy, a growing economy from a third world country in Kenya. It's gaining access to capital because people get involved in these micro loans. You're helping that economy grow by giving them access to capital, and then you're getting a return on your investment over time. Is that just sort of a quick overview of how this works?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate there. I mean, what we do in North America, the United States, everywhere over here, we're contributors. We contribute the money to this micro lending business in Kenya. In return, we receive an interest on our the money that we contribute. It's all based on a blockchain over there. It's called an M-Pesa blockchain.
So, how long have you been involved yourself with the micro loans? How many years has it been for you?
I started in 22, so I've been
Okay.
into it for 3 years now. We were doing marketing for other small businesses, and at that point, we just said, let's stop doing that and let's just do positivity. And so I pretty much put all my efforts. I was still working as a veterinarian, so my time was still a little bit limited. And then I started to make some contributions to it. And then I
Okay.
could see how it actually was working. And I was going, wow, this thing's climbing up pretty fast.
So you're not
And
just a representative for the company, you're actually involved.
I could never promote anything or I wasn't involved in already. I mean, it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, you know?
I understand. I used to have I worked in sales, and I had a manager a long time ago that told me that a good salesman can sell anything. I don't agree with that actually, because an honest salesman will have to sell something that they believe in. So if you're putting your money into it, that says a lot.
Well,
I mean, it's
yeah, not only do you have to believe in it yourself, you can't just sell to anybody. They have to have a need for it. You know, if they
yes.
don't have a need for it, what's the point?
How big do you see these micro loans becoming this year over the next 5 or 10 years? Is the growth pretty steady, or is it, what do you see as a growth projection for this type of an investment?
In the next 5 years, up there's it's supposed to be a $300 billion business just in Kenya.
Wow.
Yeah,
Just in Kenya alone. So that doesn't include probably other countries that it's a part of as well.
that's right.
Wow, that
And
is
there's
incredible.
M-Pesa is the digital wallet that they use. So there's was developed by Safariphone, which is the telephone company in Africa. It's also part of Europe too. It's a growth from Europe down into Africa with it, and they developed the M-Pesa digital wallet that works on a blockchain. If you know what a blockchain is, and I guess in the simplest terms, it's putting the information out in different places and duplicating it so that you can't just get in there and change anything because it'll automatically clean itself.
Now, I have a basic understanding of this, but it is a finite, very trackable, and it's all
Yes.
documented. So it can't
Yeah.
just be interrupted or taken away or added to. It's
It's very secure too.
yeah.
Um, and also we're putting out, well, I want to pull up this thing. Having it in a PowerPoint is better than my memory. When you contribute to positivity, it goes directly over to Kenya. There's several big, here they are. There's Tala. These
Okay.
are other micro lending companies that are participating in Kenya. Tala, Branch, and Kiva. Now, Kiva is a pure peer-to-peer lending. This one's a nonprofit. Let's say someone in Kenya needs $50. If you're involved in Kiva, you would work with that person directly. Say, okay, here I'm going to give you $50. You can pay me back or not. You know, it's
So it's true
nonprofit,
peer-to-peer lending, like literally person to person.
right?
Wow,
Now
that's an
the
interesting concept.
the owner of Kiva, I think it was Tala that they started as a for-profit business. They have 9 million customers and they've dispersed $4.5 billion.
So the
Um,
customers are the people that are borrowing the money, correct? So the
right.
people on the ground in Kenya.
Those are the borrowers. And these two companies here make up about $844 million of people who have invested in it. Those are more like the big accredited investors and venture capitalists. And you can see these are the companies that down here have invested in Tala. And then these are the ones invested in Branch. See, there's names like Visa, and over
So
here
big
is
corporations that could use it
yeah.
to invest in this. So this really isn't for the everyday Joe, these companies.
The investors, the people that provide the capital, are the big time guys, and
Yes.
they expect to make 40% returns. You know, oh, this is M-Pesa here.
Okay, so this is a good slide. So this talks about the safety of M-Pesa as a
Yeah,
blockchain and how it would protect your funds. Am I,
correct. M-Pesa, it was launched in 2007 by Safariphone and Vodafone. It has 66 million customers. They make over $375 billion in transactions a year. So there's a
wow.
lot of transaction going through this. Now, if it wasn't digital like
Yes.
this, and it actually goes through an app because it's going through this digital wallet. It can actually do anti-money laundering checks and know your customer checks. So there's another layer of security for your money. So this gets done twice when the money comes in and when it's dispersed out.
This is very important. This is huge,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, that's very important. That's why our default rate is only 2.7%, and the average default rate for micro lenders worldwide, I think, is 6.5%. So we're under that altogether. Also, M-Pesa is currently available in the DRC, Egypt, Ghana, Kenya, Lesotho, Mozambique, Tanzania, and Ethiopia.
Okay.
Now, Positivity only operates in Kenya. Now, when we start to expand outside of Kenya, we have all these countries right here already set up on M-Pesa.
And
So
you
it's
anticipate
just,
that expansion?
oh yeah,
That's really
yeah.
likely.
I've got a slide here that shows how we've been growing. Now, this is the app that we use for Positivity. It's called Africash app. You can only download this in Kenya. They use this to apply for a loan, and then, of course, they get checked out. Even some people who have very bad credit or no credit at all, they can just look and see, well, are you at least paying your phone bill? Like I said, the loans are $5 to 500. So if they don't have any credit, they can start building their credit by borrowing $5. We've got a whole crew of motorcycle drivers. They call them boda drivers that
Yes.
make deliveries, and they also carry people places. They borrow sometimes just $2 just to put gas in their motorcycle. They go and do their deliveries and stuff, come back that day and pay it off because they can borrow it on this machine or on this app, and they can pay it back on this app. They're gradually building up their credit score too, so they can borrow more money and then build up their business.
Is it safe to say that they could get the funds, they could apply that day and actually get the funds that same day?
Exactly.
So they could apply in the
Like,
morning and have that money in their gas tank that same morning.
yeah, it
That
takes a
is
couple of
incredible.
minutes. It takes two
Hmm.
minutes to get the money, you know.
That's
Now,
amazing.
have you ever gone to the bank to get a loan?
Oh my goodness. Takes about
How
30 days, 400 sheets of paper. It's incredible.
yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah, you have to leave your child there.
Yes. Whatever the opposite of efficiency is what normally happens at the bank. What is the minimum I mean, what are like the different tiers that a person could invest in this opportunity?
We don't really say it's an investment. It's more like contribution because of SEC laws and stuff like that. So we're not lending the money out. They're lending that out in Kenya. It's a company called Open Valley Investments. They'll take the dollars and exchange them into Kenyan shillings, and
Okay.
then they put it on the M-Pesa wallet, and then it's ready for loaning out. So from our side, the contributors, if you're in the silver range, that's $1,000 the minimum beginning investment, and that will get you 1% per month, 12% annual.
Okay.
Now, you can also, after you've started an account at $1,000, you can contribute to that monthly contribution for maybe 250.
So you could automatically keep applying more funds into that monthly, growing the principal so your return keeps going up. So if say you put in
Right,
400, the next month you'd be at 1400 at a
correct.
1% monthly return.
Right. And then at the end of the 12 months, that's when it compounds. So it adds the interest that you've grown over the year to your principal amount, and then you earn the 1% on the whole amount the next year. So it compounds annual.
So that's the lowest. And then the gold, that one is over 50,000. It looks like you can earn 36% annual return.
Yes, this is actually an older slide. You can still earn 3% per month up to the end of this year.
Okay.
And then in January of 2026, the interest rate will be 24%. So you get it actually, if you come in this year, you get an extra bonus of 1% a month.
That's great.
And
And then the platinum is obviously the higher,
it's a
deeper
higher amount.
pocketed folks. So $1 million, 3%. But the additional 3%, what is the additional bonus now? What does that represent? Is that so you'd be
Okay,
making,
39 for the year.
hmm, wow.
You get now if you come in at 1 million, you'll get, and I'm not sure what they're going to do to this realm, if that's going to drop to 20 24 too as well, and then you would still get the 3% bonus at the end of the year.
Do you have a slide
Uh,
that shows the growth if you were to leave it in over time?
yeah, I do right
This
there.
is amazing. Okay, this is what people are going to like to see. So
So this is at 36%. Okay. I just put together a new spreadsheet that does it at 24, but it's only 1% a month less, and I mean, if you're making 24% on your money, that's pretty darn good.
it's craziness,
Especially if,
honestly. It's
especially you get
incredible.
a CD is maybe at the max, you're going to make 4% and think that, ooh, I'm really cutting it good there.
So this is saying 100,000 in, and then it's projecting it out. By year 10, that 100,000 would end
Yes.
up being 1.5, almost
Five.
1.6 million.
Yeah.
I'm
In
liking
10
that number a
years.
lot. That's amazing. And so the
Yeah.
24% slide obviously would still be incredible. But there's something I think we had talked about this. So you are able to go into it separately or with a group of people, correct?
Yes. Oh, here it
Oh,
is.
there it is.
Friends and family. If you have five people
Okay.
and the group contributes $50,000 or more, everyone in the group will make 3%. That will make 2% now.
So friends and family, you could do a friends and family plan. You could do it separately. But really, it looks to me like any other investment, the key is if you can keep it in there long term, it's just going to explode in growth.
Yeah, I have a family plan with my kids. I have four children, so I started it. Actually, I contributed 10,000 for each one of them. I said, now there is a 13-month hold.
Okay.
Shouldn't take your money out before 13 months. Otherwise, there'll be a 5% penalty. After 13 months, it's liquid. You can take out interest out of it, or you can take principal out, or you can take the whole thing out, or you can just leave it alone and let it compound and continue to grow. That's what I'm, encouraging my children to do.
That's good
Just
to know
forget
though.
it.
So you could, if you had to, obviously it's not it's optimally it'd be better to leave it in. But if you had to for some reason, you could access it. It'd be a 5% penalty. Obviously you wouldn't want to do that. But if you had to, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it'd be
Yeah.
best to leave
No,
it in. I completely agree.
I mean, we understand that things happen. I mean, if you leave it in, if you're making 2%, all you have to do is leave it in for three months and you still got 1% on the deal. You know what I mean?
So now
Because
if
you,
people
you
wanted to get involved in this, can they, my timer's pushing on me here, but if people wanted to get involved in this, would they be able to connect with you directly? Or I guess I can put your contact info at the bottom of this video.
the best way is to use positivity.us/Jan. And what that'll do is take to a link tree, and then
Okay.
it has a lot more information. You can even download this PowerPoint from there, and it tells you how to apply for it, and of course all my contact information is there. They can set up a Zoom with me. We can set up an appointment. We can talk about whatever. I think one of the best things that this is utilized for is also for diversification. This shows the net gains on $1 million portfolio. You make 64K on 800,000 and 78K on the 200,000 with positivity. That's 39%. That would be, I'm not sure what they're going to do with the $1 million portfolio thing. Of course, that's actually not true because that'd be 200,000. It wouldn't be 39%. It would be 24%.
Yeah, or coming up. So through 2025, over 50,000, 36% is still available.
Yeah,
After January 1st, 2026, or maybe on January 1st, it becomes 24%.
that's correct. And
Okay.
there's
So
a couple reasons for that. I don't know if you want me to go over that or not.
yeah, if you want to brush on that just to kind of,
Okay, so there's two factors that causing us to go to a 24%, and they're all based on sustainability. This business started in 2018. For the first four or 5 years, about 80% of our lenders or contributors were in the 12% bracket. They were making 12%. They were all small investors under 50,000. Well,
okay.
since we started promoting with money shows and things like that, that has changed from 20% in the 36% range to just kind of flip-flopped. The majority of our investors now are in the 35 36% range. So we always pay our contributors first. They get paid first. Well, of course, the business expenses had to be paid first, and then the contributors goes on like that. And then after that are the consultants and or the salespeople. And the other thing was too that when this first started, the currency exchange, the Kenyan shilling was 160 Kenyan shillings to the dollar.
Okay.
Well, now their economy has improved, so the exchange rate is now 120. So we lost a little bit of profitability there in the exchanging rate. So we wanted to make sure that we could sustain the company. This was forethought, this is planning into the future. So we thought we better handle this now.
So
So we
in
don't.
order to ensure the long-term growth, you had to look at
Correct.
the currency exchange, all things considered. 24 is still amazing. 36 is incredible. 12 is absolutely incredible, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
It is. 12% is still pretty darn good. I mean, I go to these money shows, and there's like offices and things like that. And the reaction I'm getting from these people investing large amounts of money is like 36% sounds too good to be true, and 24%. He said, I'll do that till the cows come home. These are good people that have done money exchanges for a long time, so they see that. So we're having more people come on at the 24%, but knowing that it's going to be 24% than we had with the 36. So i'm not
It's
i'm not going
interesting
to come.
because people are looking for a better vehicle always to gain. I mean, because you work so hard. I mean, you are a veterinarian, I'm in sales, but we work so hard with the way things cost in this world and the inflation. We work so hard to come up with money, and then we finally have it. We want to really find a way to maximize our return. I mean, at 5%, it just takes so long. I mean, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the average investments out there, it's challenging.
So one of the questions you had asked me was about what makes micro lending attractive in investment
Yes.
strategy. Well, there's one is social impact. It
Okay.
supports low income individuals and small businesses in underserved regions, fostering economic growth and poverty reduction. And then there's diversification, what we just talked about. Microloans often have a low correlation with traditional asset classes, reducing portfolio risk. There's stable returns. Ever since 2018, we started paying these returns. Not one investor has not gotten the returns that we said they would get.
That's a big
So,
deal. So since 2018, here we are in 2025. So you're
yeah,
talking 7-year time period. Not one investor has not gotten the money that they anticipated they'd earn going in. They've all gotten their return.
yes.
That is a
Um,
very valid, that's a great, great point.
we have stable, consistent repayment rates of 90 to 95% in many cases, but in our case, it's 97 and a half. There's also high demand that
So the demand
shows.
on the ground in Kenya, is that what you're referring to?
Yes, this is
Wow.
a more recent one. This is our growth rate here. This is how much money is being lent out every month. $72 million is lent out every month in Kenya, and we're only be able to do 440,000 daily loans.
Okay.
1.3 million loans every month. This is how much we're lending out, 96 million. And the average loan is $57. So this kind of demonstrates two things. We also get 260,000 requests daily, and we can only fulfill this much, 44,000. So there's your demand.
The demand is there daily, but the funding is growing, and the funding is growing incredibly as well. But the demand is outpacing the funding, is what you're saying, by substantial amounts, at least for right now.
And the system that it's on can actually handle 3 million loans per day, and we're doing 44,000. It can handle 3 million. The system that it's on, the M-Pesa wallet and the Afcash app can do it. And this number here, this was at the end of 24. We're already up to 90 million now in 2025. You figure gets loaned out every month.
Yes.
We'll soon be $1 billion company, and we may even be already.
That's amazing. So if you look from 2019, $1.6 million being lent out monthly. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So now you're talking this year about 90 million monthly. That's an
Yep.
incredible growth curve. That's not really a curve. That's more of a straight up trajectory, actually.
Yeah, it's more like this. Whoop.
That's more like a rocket. That's more like a satellite going into space. That's incredible. No, I
That's
did. No, after meeting with you, I got, for the viewers, I got involved in this as well. And it's an exciting thing. It is exciting for multiple reasons.
yeah.
One, the percentage of gain in the fact that you're enabling an area that doesn't necessarily have access to the capital funds. You're helping a third world area. It's changing that area significantly, probably more than we would. I've not been to Kenya ever, so it's probably changing it a lot more than we could even guess unless we've actually been on the ground there.
We have two members over there right now. Dan Smith, so he was my partner in the marketing, and Mark Boyce is over there, and they're having meetings with, and they're doing filming to film and capture the people that are actually beneficiaries of this program, the borrowers, and they're going to have their stories to tell, how helped them grow their small enterprise and what it's done for the whole community and the whole country. My daughter is doing a lot of the filming. She does the editing on the films and stuff like that. And she took their first interview and turned it into a magazine article, and that'll be
Yes,
coming out. That'll be coming out soon. And since you're on our email list, you'll get that, and that'll just blow you away. I read that thing and I thought, wow, we're making an impact, and it's just nice. Good for the heart.
that's it. See, and that's that. This is the kind of things that I like to hear. So to just get a return on your investment is one thing, but to make an impact that can change lives and change a society, really, and give
Yeah,
people different opportunities, it's not
yeah,
something that you really get to be a part of every day. I mean, quite honestly,
I
it's
know,
really
I
not.
know,
At least
and
not on
you
this
can't.
side of the pond.
Yeah, exactly. You just can't put a price on that. That's what moves me to keep working on this. Money's nice too, but to know that we're actually making an impact, that's worth it.
I always say that there's one commodity that I think the world has, and it's the only, and I believe the only true commodity this world has is people. That's really it. They're
Well,
the
yeah,
only thing that's going anywhere, and that's really what it is. Everything else is temporary, but the people, you know.
yeah, and if you can improve their lives, doesn't matter what product you have. If it improves their lives, it's valuable.
When people want to reach out to you and say that they are interested in following up on this, they can connect with you. And from the time that they show their interest to the time that they could actually be involved, can it happen quickly for them, or is there a process? How long would it take them to get involved if they wanted to invest into this program?
One thing that takes the most time is doing the due diligence. We're kind of helping people to do their due diligence. Actually, becoming involved, it's simple. Download application form from the internet. What you'll need to do is have a couple of forms of identification that you can upload to the application, how much you want to put in. And there's also a place where you can put in a monthly amount if you want to do it at that time. Most people want to just start out and put some money in and then see how it goes, then
Yes.
start putting the money in. We're working on making that much easier too, but you can set up a beneficiary, and there's a way you can wire the money in or send a cashier's check on the first time. It has to be that way. After that, if you want to add, you can do it on a ACH, or from there, it'll go to Sonia at the main office, and she'll send you out an email that says, we received your application. Here's your next step. The next step, of course, is to send the money in. Then when the money comes in, she'll set up an account for you. It'll have a username and password, and then you can change the password when you get it and set it up. And then you have access. You can watch your money grow.
The fact that it is available up to 50 or 36% till the end of 2025 is pretty advantageous. So if a person did want to get involved and wanted to do their due diligence, they do have some time to really look into it and jump into the
Yeah.
water if they would like.
See what this is May. So we only have
Yes.
5 more months. You can earn 3% every month
Yes. And
to
then we'll
get
just convert
started.
to the 24% at that
Yeah.
point. Well, I'm going to put
And
your contact information below in this video and some
okay.
links so that people can link to you. This has been great, Jen. I really wanted to have you on. I was looking forward to this for a while. It was really a
Yeah,
pleasure
me
meeting
too.
you. And I think I'd like to have you on again if that's okay. Sometime in the future, we
No,
can just hop on and just touch base.
no, absolutely. I think this is a great way to put it out there and get people to know what we're doing. And I love it. Anytime.
It's going to be great. Nice, very, very nice to see you, Jan. But
Hey,
we will connect soon. For the Unfixed Income YouTube channel, I'm Wayne Kramer. If you haven't clicked like or subscribe, click that. Comment below. Let me know what you think about this opportunity. Connect with Jan. You're going to have his link, all of his information. But until next time, God bless. We'll talk to you next time on the Unfixed Income YouTube channel. Take care.